Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the next flashpoint in the United States. What's going to be the next big topic of conversation leading up to the November elections. Now, in my life, in my personal life, as well as in my business life, I've always tried my best to plan 2 moves ahead because I believe the truth is not always black and white. I believe the truth actually hides in the shadows. And this is a matter that's actually hiding in the shadows right now. But I believe it's going to sort of blast into the open and it's going to become pretty much a big topic of conversation. It could even potentially derail entirely the stimulus negotiations. But the next big topic of conversation, the next big flashpoint, I believe, is going to be mail-in ballots. Now, the reason I say this is this has started to get a lot of mainstream media coverage in the past couple of days, and I've never ever seen so much coverage on one subject from both conservative as well as liberal outlets. And I'm actually going to tell you what's going on, and I'll let you decide for yourself whether you agree with this, what your opinion is, and I would like you to comment below. Now, this was reported by the Washington Post. We rarely see this kind of coverage, and the Washington Post was not the only news outlet that reported this. They said the Postal Service warns 46 states their voters could be disenfranchised by delayed mail-in ballots. So what's basically been happening is the new Postmaster General of the Postal Service, who, by the way, has had no previous experience working with the Postal Service. In fact, I'm going to go over 2 things in this video. Let me just clarify. One is the next flashpoint, which are going to be the mail-in ballots. And number 2, I'm going to talk to you about the man at the center of all of this. His name is DEJOY, and he is the Postmaster General of the Post Office. So let's get started with the flashpoint. There are voters in 46 states that are getting impacted, and the United States Postal Service recently sent detailed letters to 46 states and DC warning that it cannot guarantee that all ballots cast by mail for the November election will arrive in time to be counted. Yes, you heard that right. And it said that basically that's going to add a new level of uncertainty to what is already probably the most consequential presidential election we've had in many decades, and it's high stakes to say the least. So for tens of millions of Americans, and again this is from the Washington Post, it says that the letters sketch a grim possibility for the tens of millions of Americans eligible for a mail-in ballot this fall. Even if people follow their state's elections rules, the pace of the Postal Service delivery may disqualify their votes. Yes, you heard that right. Now, you know what? I'm going to analyze some other news outlets because I don't want this to be just quotes from one or the other. And again, I've talked about this earlier. These are actual facts. So please, the truth lies in the shadows. Don't dismiss something as fake news and say, oh, it's fake news because it's from this and this source. It's a big mistake. If you look at something in black and white, you'll always be 2 steps behind the game. You've got to think 2 steps ahead and look at data objectively, regardless of where it comes from. So now, who is DEJOY? So DEJOY, Postmaster General DEJOY, he basically is, let me tell you a little bit about him because we did do some research on him. Postmaster General DEJOY is basically give me just a second, there we go. He is an American businessman and inventor. Thanks for your patience. He's an American businessman and investor, and major Republican Party fundraiser. So again, he has had no experience working for the United States Postal Service. And a lot of these officials, in case you didn't know, the Postmaster General of the United States, the US Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, the White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, these aren't publicly elected officials, okay? These are individuals that are appointed by the White House, appointed by the president, appointed by the administration. It's just something you should know. So he was appointed in May 2020, and they go through a process, and he essentially serves as the 75th United States Postmaster General and Chief Executive Officer. So what DEJOY did is, and he made a lot of service changes last month, he has drastically reduced overtime, and he has banned extra trips to ensure on-time mail delivery. So basically, there's been a lot of essentially reorganization, restructuring within the United States Postal Service, and it's currently decommissioning 10% of its costly and bulky mail sorting machines, which workers say would hinder processing of election mail, according to a grievance filed by the United Postal Workers Union. And this information was obtained by the Washington Post. Now, we're talking 671 machines scattered all across the country, but they actually concentrated in high population areas, and they have the capacity to sort 21.4 million pieces of mail per hour. So that's what's happening. So across the country, let's analyze exactly what's happening with capacity. These removals represent about 10% of the entire Postal Service stock of sorting machines. Removals are happening in every state but Alaska. So basically, when you send out mail, the mail goes through a sorting machine, then there's some hand sorting involved, then it goes into, it sort of gets rerouted, if you will, to the actual postal service worker, who then puts it in the truck and then drives to your home, and then knocks on your door, says hi, or just drops it outside your door. So without these mail sorting machines, mail is going to be delayed. In fact, I've seen several messages, several tweets. In fact, I'm asking you, has your mail been delayed? So just type out in the comment section below and let us know if your mail has been delayed. So what's been happening is a number of cities in key swing states, we're talking Houston, Texas, Pontiac, Michigan, Columbus, Ohio, have been affected by some of the biggest losses in sorting capacity. We're talking delayed mail for starters right now, and obviously down the road, down the line, when it comes time to vote, there could be some issues there. Now, I just want to be very clear, because I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I don't want to give rise to any conspiracy theories. You can look at the map and you can interpret it whatever you want. The map of the different mail sorting capabilities, you can look that up online. Now, don't jump to the conclusion that, hey, these have been targeted at Democratic strongholds. We don't know. There is no consensus. There's no evidence that that's the case. They could simply be following population patterns. They could be following the age of these machines. The older machines get discarded first. We don't know yet. I'm not going to, I don't want to point fingers at anyone, but I do want you to know that this is going to affect the mail-in ballots as far as many news outlets are concerned. So one thing is for sure, this is a radical overhaul to a critical system at an unprecedented time in the middle of a pandemic, weeks before an election. Okay, so that's not something that anyone can really contest. And it's not clear why these changes have to be done right now. In fact, I'm scratching my head as to why they are doing it right now. But I'll let you be the judge. Why not just postpone it for a year down the road in the pandemic? And this is I actually saw this tweet from Daniel Ray. He's a former editor-in-chief for Bankrate and CreditCards.com, and he said, for the 6 cities, this is his tweet, and I will provide you with a link to his tweet in the description below. All the data that's in our videos, we provide references. In all cases, sometimes we forget, but all of this data can easily be sourced. You can verify anything I say on my channel at all times. He said, Daniel Ray said, for the 6 cities with the largest reductions in sorting capacity, he ran the split between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in 2016. New York City, 79% Clinton versus 19% Trump. By the way, these are the top 6 cities with the largest reductions in sorting capacity as a result of the actions of the Postmaster General. For New York City, 79% Clinton, 19% Trump. Los Angeles, 60% Clinton, 32% Trump. Again, the top 6 cities with the largest reductions in sorting capacity. This was the vote split between Clinton and Trump in 2016. New York City, 79 Clinton, 19% Trump. Los Angeles, 60% Clinton, 32% Trump. Houston, 54% Clinton, 42% Trump. Philadelphia, 82% Clinton, 15% Trump. Pontiac, Michigan, 51% Clinton, 43% Trump. Columbus, Ohio, 60% Clinton, 34% Trump. And in his words, Daniel Ray, and I quote, coincidence, I'm sure. And as I get towards the end of this video, here are some headlines from the Miami Herald. USPS warns Florida some of its mail ballots could be rejected. Tampa Bay Times, mail-in votes are threatened. Atlanta Journal-Constitution, mail delays may avoid absentee ballots. Wichita Eagle, USPS removes mail machines in Kansas. Baltimore Sun, answers sought in delays of US mail. Boston Globe, Postal Service warns about vote. Kansas City Star, mail machines in Kansas, Missouri removed by USPS. Star Ledger, New Jersey, one of my favorite, it's a good paper. Postal Service warns of possible ballot delay. And so many people at this point in time are saying, there's not really much Congress can do about this whole Postal Service situation, if you will. And that's actually not true, because, as you know, right now, lawmakers are on vacation, which is a whole, that's a whole, yeah, so I know what you're thinking, and so am I. But the fact is, there is a lot that Congress can actually do, they can hold hearings, they can shine a light on this situation. They can try and get this whole situation massive attention, and the House Democratic leadership and the Senate Republican leadership can actually negotiate and pass a bill with funding for the post office and stipulations on how the post office conducts its business. Now, let's be clear, the president can still veto this bill, but that's just how the government works. That's just how our system works. That's the framework of our constitution. And it's possible that the president may not sign a bill with funding for the post office, no matter what happens, no matter if the Republican leadership wants him to. But who knows? We can at least try to make sure that the funding exists if it's absolutely necessary, and I'll let you be the judge of that. Now, just to be clear, House Democrats have passed a bill with money for the post office already. They have done that in the past. The HEROES Act had plenty of money for the post office, but this is the next flashpoint, everybody. This is what we'll be talking about. This is what no one's talking about right now, because everyone's focused on stimulus checks and making up all of these, creating all the hype about stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. But in life, when you can only see what is in front of you, but you can't try and plan a few moves ahead, that's when you sort of can get controlled, can get manipulated. I've provided the rabbit analogy before. You can sort of dangle a carrot in front of a rabbit. You don't even need to hit the rabbit with a stick. You dangle a carrot in front of a rabbit, or in the middle of the night you just start shining flashing lights at the rabbit, and the rabbit just runs around completely confused. And I think that if all we are doing is just looking at the stimulus checks and the unemployment benefits and getting swayed by the information about that, unfortunately masters are treating human beings as rabbits. And I mentioned this earlier, there are a lot of rabbits out there. I want you to be a knowledgeable citizen. I want you to be a citizen who can make the right decisions based on the information that's presented to you. It doesn't matter to me at all whether you're Democrat or whether you're Republican. What matters to me is that you and I are American. It doesn't matter to me whether you're red or blue. What matters to me is that we are red, white and blue. I've given you this information. I want you to be the judge of it. Tell me what you think about this whole situation. In fact, I'm actually going to take a look at a couple of President Trump's tweets right now. So let me pull them up right now. These are tweets from this morning from President Trump, and I'm actually going to read them out, and you'll see how important this issue is. I'm actually pulling up President Trump's Twitter feed at the time that I'm recording this video, and the president basically has some tweets about voting ballots. He said dead people voted. This is what President Trump retweeted, and he retweeted this a few hours ago. He said, one woman said 8 close relatives, neighbors insist they never receive ballots despite ballots being mailed in their names. So the president is definitely making sure that this becomes a big flashpoint, and he's that's what he's saying. And also, by the way, just before I finish, the president also tweeted out, in his words, great work by the governors of Arizona, Louisiana, New Mexico. And he said that these individuals have responded to my executive actions and promptly submitted applications that we approved quickly to support Americans out of work because of the pandemic, more states to come. He's talking about the $400 a week lost wages assistance program, and he's talking about states implementing this. I have done another detailed video on which states are implementing, not implementing. This is a very rapidly changing situation. It's a very fluid situation. I did link you to Matt Darling, who's the individual who's trying to collate all this data. So if you have new information in your state, get in touch with Matt through his Twitter feed and let him know so he can update the chart. And because again, this situation changes fluidly. My goal is to provide you with information and let you make the decision for yourself, and let's help each other organize information. Okay, let's help each other get the latest information out. So comment below about your opinion about what I consider to be the new flashpoint that's coming up for us in the history of our country. Also let me know whether you're getting the $400 a week unemployment benefit extensions. Type out below and say, got the $400 a week, am in such and such state. This way we as a country know, all the other members of our community know who's getting and who's not getting the $400 a week. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. There's a big bird close by. Maybe you can hear the bird, I'm not sure. But if you learned something new, please click the like button. Please click subscribe. Please enable notifications so you get instant updates about future videos going forward. Also, if you want to get breaking news and alerts from us, get your cell phone out, type out the word ignition or type out the word time, and send a text message with either ignition or time to 70,000. That's 70000, because the name of our channel is Ignition Time. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. I really appreciate you watching. Again, please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications. And by the way, from our text messages and the emails we send out, you can opt out at any time. Thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video at Ignition Time. Definitely comment below. I want to know what you think about what I consider to be the next flashpoint in the topic of conversation in our economy, leading up to this consequential election, probably the most consequential election we've had in probably at least 50 years. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.